And a very interesting clip out there surfacing in the past week or so. If you guys want to check it out, my competition, my loved ones over there at Dexerto, I encourage you guys to check it out because it was actually an interview with Rush. They picked apart with several great clips out there, and one of them were pertaining to OpTic and North American CSGO, a topic that I have not talked about for what, 3, 4, 5 years, a long time. Obviously, with the revival of OpTic now back underneath NRG, tons of people, myself included, are wondering what exactly is going on underneath the NRG umbrella, because we now have NRG creators and pro players and other people underneath that umbrella alongside OpTic members also being underneath the same umbrella. It's just very confusing, right? It's like FaZe Clan and G2 combining forces in some weird way, and all of a sudden you got G2 Carlos underneath FaZe Clan's hood. It's confusing, and understandably so, but a clip out there now surfacing around Rush, he was actually asked if OpTic Gaming can save North American CSGO. In case you guys are unaware, over the past year or so, North American Counter-Strike has been greatly suffering, not only due to pandemic, but a lack of talent to actually stay in North America, which Rush does talk about, and that does continue. OpTic once was, I believe, 5-6 years ago, back in the days of Tark and Mixwell, they had their glory run in CSGO, and I'm sure you Greenwall fans remember that. I know I truly do. And so he was asked, can OpTic Gaming underneath NRG save North American CSGO?
Yeah, I can understand that he wouldn't go into CS right now because of Corona and how it is in the US right now. It wouldn't make that much sense financially speaking at all. But I can see him doing it down the line because I know he has a love for the game actually. Like he came to multiple events for us for CSGO, which is not very common for an owner to come to. And in general, I'm super happy for him. I didn't know, but I figured it'd be a matter of time before he got his hands back on the brand, and honestly, it shouldn't be in any other hands than his. Like when it first happened, I was shocked. NACS is kind of dead right now. It's true. Like European teams are coming to Europe to play tournaments because there's no good practice in North America anymore. You can only play like the top teams, which are like 3 or 4 teams over and over, which is awful. So unless there's like some random resurgence in the scene, it seems like the best play would be either for NA teams to move to Europe or just like find a team in Europe for Hex, because I don't think, like, I know he's always been about like building your brand with being in a house and have a content house, but it's gonna be hard when he's not around that team if they're in Europe. But if he truly wants a CS team to succeed, I think he would have to get a European team, because that's like the only way. That's the only like, competition right now besides Liquid and EG and Furia.
And it really does make you wonder, and I want to flat out say this. I don't think I usually share, a brash side. I think I usually play the game pretty safe here on the show. When it comes to this, though, I'll give you guys a hard answer. I don't think it's going to happen. If you guys remember, it was now a long time ago. NRG departed and left CSGO deliberately. They sold that roster and got out, and I would say in pretty good timing. And would they want to come back in a time where it does not seem financially viable? Yes, teams still lose a lot of money in CSGO, and especially at a time where North American CSGO hasn't ever been this low before. Is it viable at all? Would OpTic have to pick up a roster and then move to Europe? And that's only the back half of the question. Does NRG even want to go into CSGO? And is OpTic Gaming even allowed to be branded in CSGO underneath NRG? From what very little we know, I believe it was actually on an NRG duo podcast between Andy and Hector, or it was actually Richard Lewis and Hector talking about this, where he actually is leasing back the rights of OpTic Gaming to NRG for them to use that name for Call of Duty. Is he allowed to use that name for other esports if NRG keeps expanding with the OpTic Gaming brand? These are the questions that I do not know the answer to. I am very curious about. Even if the answer to that is yes, though, would NRG and OpTic want to enter Counter-Strike, especially North American Counter-Strike right now? I find it highly unlikely. Would I love it? I would love to be wrong, because I love the OpTic brand and I love the OG OpTic guys. Even further though, Hector is definitely the kind of guy to like to sign former players of his that he once had with the original OpTic, and now with the revival, you see guys like Mixwell, he's gone in Valorant. You see guys like Tark, he's locked down. A lot of the former guys that Hector did have are signed elsewhere, would be very expensive, or they're just in different esports entirely. So he's typically a guy that wants to build around storylines and build around personalities. Although I will say, remember when this first rumor came around and Tarek took to stream to joke about that if OpTic Gaming did come back, he would go back? Like, do you remember that?
Did you hear about OpTic wanting to revive the org? Yeah, I saw about Hex
Check to
buying
see
back
how
OpTic.
big
Yo,
or
that's
how bad your
insane.
ping is.
If Hex buys back OpTic,
73.
You know what's gonna happen, boys. You know what's gonna happen.
Fuck,
already.
what am I gonna order?
I ain't gonna say it. You already know what's gonna happen.
There's
I'm just saying,
nothing.
dude. I'm just saying. I'm not saying.
So we don't know if it's possible, and even if it is possible, could OpTic actually save NA CSGO? I don't know, but it's freaking fun to talk about because if North American CSGO needs anything right now, it's a team like this to enter and bring back some sort of spark and some sort of life. I just don't see it happening, in my opinion. What do you guys think? As per usual, you know what to do, all right? Take a sip for me. Stay hydrated. I'll see you back here sometime soon. Take care.